This is our very first ever free futures webinar, futures related. Stock Dads, historically and traditionally has been, predominantly stocks and options, as the name might imply. As we've kind of seen, futures growing in popularity, and more, options traders are trying out futures and so on and so forth because of a lot of different reasons that, that JT will talk about tonight. Stock Dad's kind of decided like, hey, we need to have a futures presence. So, in true Stock Dad's fashion, I went out and I found the best futures trader I could find. Not necessarily the prettiest looking guy, but just, yeah, no, just kidding,
It's all
dude.
right.
What a stud. But I searched far and wide for, the best futures community. Not necessarily the biggest following, not necessarily the most prim and proper social media presence and all that kind of stuff. Because that's not what it's about. It's about who's actually genuinely good at what they do. And that's JT, the chef. And JT has been trading professionally for like 19 years, I think it is, coming up on year 20.
19
Trading
years.
professionally, stocks, options, and now, futures, and kind of done it all. Uh, Dude knows his way around the chart. Dude knows how to trade like nobody's business. And we are going to learn from a master tonight. So I'm going to pass it over to him in a minute because I know you guys don't want to hear me talk. But real quick, I just want, I get pumped when I see the kind of the stream flowing. So, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'm going to do it for the gram a little bit, but drop some W's in chat if you're super pumped to learn tonight. Look at that. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's
And
go.
and with that, JT, the master, the chef, let's cook up some futures, bro.
All right, guys, let's cook up some futures. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to eat, as we say? Let's get some ones in the chat, W's in the chat, whatever you want to drop. Either one of those, just let's get this going. I've been super excited about doing this webinar with you guys. So, my name, first of all, again, Cooking Up Futures 101. So let's get started. All right. So my name is John, the Chef Tiliakos, right? Some people call me JT. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I have been working in the family business my whole life. Also, I've been working for myself. I'm a restaurant owner of celebrated just now 14 years of business being open as of yesterday. So that's an amazing accomplishment. Love doing that. Also, I'm a father of two. I've got two under two. So I'm a father. I got a wife, a family, people that I provide for. So those are things that I absolutely love. They give me the passion to do what I do every single day. All right. So I've been trading for 19 years. 19 years. I have seen multiple market cycles. I went to school for finance, graduated with a degree in finance right during the financial crisis. And during the financial crisis was one of the best times that I could ever have learned how to trade in the markets because everything was so volatile. It was such a time of unknown. We had not seen things like this before. And it was an amazing time to learn. And throughout the years, I have made trading something that I do always in the background, no matter what. And I have had years where I made money, years where I lost money. It took me a while in the beginning to get things going, but once I figured it out over time, I've been able to really stay consistent over the years. And where I got to where I'm at today is when I graduated with that degree in finance, it was during the financial crisis. There weren't a lot of jobs available. So that's why I got into the family business because, I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my future family. And that business actually did thrive. So I did decide to stay in that. All right. That being said, trading never left me. And when COVID happened, there was a lot of more free time, obviously. Restaurants were not able to have dine in or anything like that. And I got online and actually discovered Discord, had no idea what Discord was. But then I found my ability to actually do what I wanted to do in the first place, which is always help people learn how to trade, mentor people in the financial markets, because I know how the financial markets actually are. It's just a sales gimmick to get you to do whatever you want to do, trade and lose your money and give your money to someone on the street corner. For me, I don't want to do that. I want to help you learn how to do what you can do on your own, educate you to be successful on your own in the markets. That's why I'm here. So that's how I got to where I am today. So I have actually started my own community, grew that into a flourishing community, and then I had the privilege of talking with DJ, and we decided to merge our communities with Stock Dads at the beginning of this year. And it has been an amazing thing. I absolutely love being a member of Stock Dads, an analyst over here at Stock Dads, exclusive to Stock Dads, and I am excited to meet each and every one of you. Now, if you're not a member of Stock Dads, DJ, if you can drop the link, we are currently actually doing a promo right now, where we are giving 40% off your membership. So if you do want to ever sign up with us, 40% off before prices go up. Really want to take advantage of that. So just wanted to drop that before we move forward. This is a great opportunity for you to learn about what futures are. Okay. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys have never actually traded futures before. I want to know how many people have actually never traded futures before. This is completely new to you. You have absolutely no idea what futures are. You don't know how this works. Okay, that is great. I like to see that there's a lot of people here that have never traded futures, because it is an entirely different way of approaching your trading and how you can take advantage of it with the skills that you have learned over time. All right, so let's take a look at this. So let's talk about what you're going to expect tonight. So we're going to talk about what futures are. We're going to talk about some commonly traded futures, all right? Things that you may be familiar with, why you should trade futures versus other assets, how they actually move, and then how we can actually trade them. We'll also talk about pros and cons of using a personal account as opposed to maybe using a prop account like My Funded Futures. We'll talk about why prop accounts are the best new option for new futures traders. And then we'll talk about choosing the right funding partner, why we like My Funded Futures so much, and then an open Q&A at the very end to review any unanswered questions. And guys, I promise you, you want to stick around for that. Got 19 years of experience here. You do not want to miss that, okay? So let's keep it moving. What are futures? Futures are derivative financial contracts that are basically, you can buy or sell the asset of, let's say, an index or something like that for a future date at a certain price. A futures contract allows the person to speculate the direction of a security or a commodity or financial instrument, long or short, using leverage, okay? So the beauty of that is it allows you to take a position long or short using leverage of the markets in your favor. All right. Now, there are different types of futures that are traded. There are equity index futures, there are metal futures, forex futures, energy futures, bond futures, agricultural futures, and also cryptocurrency futures now. So you can actually trade Bitcoin on futures markets, which is an amazing thing. Now, let's talk about some common equity futures that you may be familiar with, or maybe you're not. So we have the ES, which is the E-mini S&P 500. Some of you guys may be familiar with trading SPY or SPX. This is exactly what emulates the S&P 500 index. So that would be the ES. Next, we have NQ, which represents, it's the E-mini NASDAQ 100. This represents the NASDAQ 100, or like, let's say that you trade QQQ or the NASDAQ NDX. This is going to represent exactly or emulate the same thing as a futures contract. Next, you have the YM, which represents the E-mini of the Dow 30. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Some of you might look at that as DIA, as an index or as an ETF. Next, we have RTY, which is the Russell 2000, the E-mini Russell 2000. That represents things like IWM. And then last but not least, we have the Nikkei, which is the Japanese stock market, which is NKD. Okay, so those are some commonly traded future indexes. Next, you got metal futures. So we have gold, GC, we have copper, HG, we have silver, SI, we have platinum, PL, and we have palladium, PA. Next, we got Forex futures. Yes, you can trade Forex in the futures market. A lot of US traders have recently gone through the trouble of losing their Forex accounts. Okay, they might have been trading Forex accounts, they might have been trading Forex with another prop firm, and now they don't have the ability to trade Forex anymore. Well, you can trade the same exact chart in the futures market. So Euro FX is 6E, the Japanese yen is 6J, the British pound is 6B, the Canadian dollar is 6C, you've got the Australian dollar, which is 6A, you got the Swiss franc, which is 6S, and you got 6N as the New Zealand dollar, okay? So that is still available for you guys to trade even in the futures market. Next, we have energy futures. We've got CL, which represents crude oil. We got NG, which is natural gas, and HO, which is heating oil. And then you've got bond futures. So some of you guys may be familiar with paying attention to the 10-year note or hearing about how bond rates are going up or down. Well, actually, you can trade these. So you can trade the 10-year note with ZN, the 2-year note with ZT, the 5-year note with ZF, the 30-year note, excuse me, with ZB, and then they have something called the Ultra bond. You can trade that with UB. And last but not least, we've got agricultural futures. So let's say you've always dreamed of trading lean hogs or corn or soybeans or wheat, whatever. You can do that. Live cattle. You can actually do that. You can trade that. So HE is lean hogs, or excuse me, HE, yeah, is lean hogs. LE is live cattle. You've got corn, which is ZC. ZW is wheat. And then ZS is soybeans. So I want to give you guys also a little bit of background of what you might hear futures traders say, because futures traders have different lingo. It's not, it's kind of familiar, but there's just here's a couple things that I liked to bring to your attention. They're just a couple small things, but you might see somebody say bid 45. What does that mean? That actually means that the current bid, or what somebody's willing to pay for, let's say an ES contract, is as much as the bid, meaning 45. So if you hear someone say bid 45, that's what the market is telling you. Let's say someone's saying offer 46, right? That's what somebody's willing to sell it for. So offer 46. So this is kind of something you might want to be familiar with. Nobody trades on the floor anymore, but this is what floor traders would do, bid and offers, and they would use their hand signals in either direction. So bid and offer, this is just something important for you to understand. Single prints. This is something that you might become familiar with in the future. Single prints happens whenever there's huge volatility in the market to the upside, to the downside. And what happens is price does not stay at these levels as it's moving up higher or moving down lower in a quick motion. So what happens is sometimes those single prints get revisited because there's not a lot of volume in those areas, and that needs to be filled. If you guys are familiar with gap fills, very familiar that anytime price re-enters those single prints, it might start to take them out, moving them to a higher volume area. All right, so let's continue here. So then you'll hear sometimes futures traders will mention a scratch trade, which that means that they just took the trade at break even, and or they might have had a scratch sort of day. They just broke even for the day. All right, that's something that you'll see. Sometimes traders will just scratch a trade because they just want to get rid of it. Maybe they don't see what they saw in the beginning panning out, so let's do that. Last two that we have is the poor low and the poor high. So sometimes what you'll see is the distribution and volume that you'll see on the chart and in the profile is that you'll see only a few contracts traded at the high or at the low, meaning that somebody was left holding the bag at the high or somebody was left holding the bag at the low. And a lot of times, whenever you have poor lows or poor highs, the market likes to revisit those areas and actually repair those poor lows or poor highs. So those are going to be important things that you'll learn over time, but this is just a couple little key little terms that you might want to pay attention to when you're trading futures, and you'll see futures traders use these terms. Okay? So you might be asking yourself, why do I want to trade futures versus trading other assets, like let's say options, stocks, whatever it may be? If you're an options trader, let me ask you a question. If you put $1,000 into an account How many trades would you actually have before you could actually blow up your account? Real legitimate question. How many trades would you have if you invested $1,000 into your account? Right? It wouldn't be very many, less than 5, let's say. Right? You could do it in one, you could lose it in one trade. That can be demoralizing because you might say to yourself, I have the right setup, but it's not working out for me. Right? And because I've put so much money into this, I may not be willing to sell that position because I'm psychologically tied to it. Because I know that if I sell the position, hey, it might run away from me. Or hey, if I do sell it and I see it run my direction, I'll have FOMO. And either way, I'll be stuck in that situation, right? With futures trading, you don't have to necessarily worry about that as much, especially when trading with a prop firm. But also, when you're trading futures, you don't have to deal with the Greeks anymore. How many guys are stuck looking at theta, worrying about what contract you're going to pick? You might have picked the right setup on something, but ultimately, because the contract was the wrong date or you picked the wrong strike price, you're stuck because of theta. So you don't have to worry about the Greeks anymore when you're trading futures. You're solely focused on trading price action or whatever your strategy may be. You're just focused on that alone. There are no pattern day trading rules. You don't have to worry about having $25,000 in your margin account to trade futures. You don't have to worry about having enough. Let's say I use all my cash for the day for options. I don't have to worry about that. Why does that matter? Because let's say that, again, in that same situation, I only have 3 day trades in a week, or I only have so much cash that I can use. Well, if I actually see a setup, it's not working out right away, I can get out of that position. And guess what? If it presents itself one more time, I can get back in. I don't have to worry about, oh, do I have another day trade? I don't have to worry about the fact, oh, I'm out of day trades for the week, or I don't have enough cash for the week. None of that matters anymore. Again, you can focus on the price action, focus on your strategy, and you can also mitigate your risk in futures better than any other trading asset. All right. So the psychological pitfalls that you end up coming across with all of these other types of trading, especially options, can be so detrimental to you because even though you might be trading the right strategy, but just because you incurred a couple losses on a small account, you might just change everything. And when you do that, all you're doing is messing yourself up even further, right? You actually were this close to being right and being on the right path, but because you got affected by the way that everything is working out for you, because you're just trading with that asset, everything gets washed away. And this is why I'm telling you that when you trade futures and when you trade with a prop firm, which we'll talk about, that money goes a lot further. And you can actually work on the process before you get towards the point of making money. All right. Because what we want to work on as traders is work on the process and that consistency over time. Because when we focus on that, that allows us to actually be profitable over time. Focus on working on the skill, and then the money will come later on. The other beauty of trading futures versus other assets is that you can trade 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. The futures market opens at 6 p.m. on Sunday, Eastern time. It closes between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern time every day, and then reopens at that 6 o'clock, and then trades all the way till Friday at 5 p.m. Even on holidays, it actually is still available for a certain amount of hours. Okay. So for those of you that are trading, maybe let's say that you have a 9 to 5, right? I can't day trade. Well, those days are over. You can actually trade if you want to at night. You can actually trade if you want to late night. Whatever you want to do, whatever fits your schedule. Again, 23 hours a day, this market is available to you. And that is what's so beautiful about the futures market, is that you can get what you need out of the market at whatever time you need to and focus on the rest of the things that you need to do for the rest of your life. I'm not telling you, right, that you need to sit there and trade all day. I'm just sitting there telling you, hey, you might have a particular time frame in your day that you can actually focus on trading, that 90-minute period. All right. And maybe in that 90-minute period, you can focus on whatever asset that you might want to trade. You might be able to focus and pull money out of the markets that way. Okay. Just something for you to think about. So that way you can be 100% focused at that time, and then 100% focused on other things that you have going on in life outside of, let's say, like work with as well, your family, all the things that you need to do. All right. So let's move this forward. So we have two types of contracts. We have mini contracts and we have micro contracts. The mini contracts are going to be 1/10 the size of these mini contracts. All right. So we're going to go here and I'm going to show you a list of all the different contracts that we have and examples that we have. So we have the ES mini all the way down to the NQ, etc. So you can see it's important to understand the price per tick or per point of how much it's going to cost for each point that these move. It's important as a futures trader to manage your risk more than any other type of trading. All right. So you can see here that if you trade the ES mini futures with one contract, that's $50 per point, or each tick in 25-cent increments is worth $12.50. Another popular one is the NASDAQ, right? That's $20 per point. And that's one of my personal favorites. 4 ticks per point, $5 per tick. Okay. There you can see the list of some other ones. So those are the mini contracts. Now, mini contracts are a lot harder for people to scale, meaning that if I'm in a trade, a one mini contract has a lot of risk on the board. If I have multiple mini contracts, that's a lot of risk on the board. The beauty is that now we also have the ability to trade micros. Now with micros, that is 1/10 the size, and that allows us to scale our positions out, meaning we can have 10 micro contracts that will be the equivalent of one mini contract. So the beauty of that is, let's say that I want to take some off when I'm up, let's say 5 ES points. Then I can take 5 off and then move my stop loss to break even and have the remaining 5 micros work for me. If I had only minis and I had one contract, I would not be able to scale out. So the beauty of micros is that when you're trading, especially when you're trading less than, I would say, maybe 2 contracts, you definitely want to focus on trading the micros because it gives you the ability to scale in and out of positions at a much easier pace. And it allows you to manage your risk at a much better level. So 1 point for the ES as opposed to 50 is only $5, right? And for the NASDAQ is only $2. Right? So that is an amazing thing, especially for you guys in the beginning. You should be focusing on these micros. You shouldn't be going crazy on mini contracts. Looking at these micros will give you the ability to work on your process over time. All right. So where can we actually trade futures? All right. So we can trade futures with prop firms. Prop firms give you the door, will give you access to trade futures for far less, for $100, maybe even less sometimes. You can use a broker. Now, there are many brokers that are readily available to trade futures. You can use IBKR, you can use TD, you can use Webull's got futures coming up. You could use one of those. You also have future-specific brokers like Tradevate, AMP Futures, just to name a few. They have the ability to trade on your own if you want to do that and if you want to risk your personal capital. Now, I do want to talk about that because why would I want to trade my personal capital, or why would I not want to trade my personal capital? So, before we do that, I want to talk to you guys about something that's very important, though. Do we actually know how futures move, right? It's actually pretty simple. Futures move up and down based on the imbalance of buyers and sellers, meaning that there are, let's say that every person in the world trading the ES contract is on the market on the buy and the sell side, okay? And that means that when there's an imbalance of people that want to pay more, let's say they want to pay 5 cents versus 5 cents versus 6 cents. Just giving an example here. that let's say that people want to bid it up to 6 cents. Then that means there's an imbalance that people want to bid more than the people actually selling at 6 cents. So once that overtakes 6 cents, then you have that imbalance, and then people start to make price go higher. The opposite of that is, let's say that there are not enough people that want to, let's say they want to pay 5 cents anymore, and they pull their bids away, and then you'll see sellers actually sell into that 5 cents, and that will cause price to go lower. So ultimately, that is an imbalance in buyers and sellers. Now, how can you actually help understand this a little bit better? By technical and fundamental analysis, right? So you can help interpret this by using technical analysis, things that you may be familiar with. There may be economic data coming out, or you might have a better understanding of the economies that are at hand to help predict future price movement. Now, what actually moves futures big, right? And these are moments where you actually want to highly consider not trading futures because they are so volatile. And you might think that you might get your order filled at a particular price, only to find out that it got filled way beyond that because there was nobody there. Now, these are times when the market moves in a big fashion. So we're talking about when CPI comes out, when non-farm payroll comes out at the end of this week, when you got the Federal Reserve announcement coming out. Large companies, when they report earnings after hours, especially in the NASDAQ, you will see huge moves in the NASDAQ. Let's say when Apple reports or when NVIDIA reported, huge moves. Let's say there's a war going on, geopolitical news. Let's say that there's some election stuff. Powell tomorrow, perfect example, right? When Jerome Powell is speaking, when a Fed speaker is speaking, it can cause the market to move massively. Let's say you have a weather-related event. Let's say you have a hurricane coming up in the Gulf. That could actually cause oil prices to go up because they have to shut down refineries. You might have a huge drought causing farms to, go through disaster, and maybe they'll lose their crops. That will cause also huge moves in the futures market. All right. So to move this forward, let's say you want to go the personal futures trading route. Okay. Personal account. The pros of that is that you have full control of the trading decisions. You have full control of the risk management and the strategies. No one can tell you, oh, you can't do that. No one can tell you whatever you want to do. It's all up to you. You have full control. It's full autonomy in executing your trades. You can manage the positions without any external influence. All right. The cons of that is that you have limited capital and limited leverage. What I mean by that is the money that you put in is that the money that you're going to be able to trade with. And that's the leverage that you're going to have. You also are going to have your money at risk. Okay. And with your entire capital at risk of trading futures, it can go pretty quickly if you're not careful. Okay. It can lose money faster than it takes you to get the hang of futures if you're just starting out. All right. So many people in this space, whether it's options, whatever it may be, right? What happens is people invest so much money in the beginning when they don't understand the skill. And by the time they learn the skill, there's no money left. Or they don't even get to that point, right? They get to that point, or they might just be turned off by it. They might have lost money, so much money in the beginning. How many times has that happened to you guys before? Put a 1 in the chat if that has happened to you before, where you said to yourself that I'm not sure I can do this anymore because this happened to me, right? And you felt like, oh, I don't really have the means to do this anymore. There is no better time right now trading in the history of trading to be able to trade with futures and with a prop account. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you that is this. You can sit there and put that $100 to work for you, and that $100 will work for you for a prolonged period of time, right? Not just a little period of time, a prolonged period of time. Why? Because if you're serious about this, then you'll take that account serious to learn the skill. I'm not talking about you gambling just to go make a bunch of money. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, if you want to take this seriously, then you can actually really make it in this trading space. All right. The pros of trading with a prop account is it gets you in the front door without breaking the bank, right? It gets you into the futures market without breaking the bank. What you will realize is when you're trading futures on a personal account, it's going to require a lot of money, and you're going to have that margin available each and every day to pay for the position that you have. Meaning, if you don't have the funds available to cover that, to hold that position overnight, it will get closed on you. They will liquidate your position. You cannot swing it overnight. It's not like stocks where you're holding a position overnight, right? So the pros of that, again, it gets you in the door for way cheaper. It allows you more screen time and practice with trading futures. It's important for people to trade real money when it comes to futures, when it comes to trading in general, even if it's for the smallest contract possible. Like I said, I think it's great for people that are starting with this to start with micros. Again, it's all about learning the skill. Even if you're trading small size, it's not about the money in the beginning. It's about being consistent and learning that process. You have the ability to leverage capital, meaning that if you are successful with these prop firms, you will find your ability to take money out of the markets. I know that multiple of my students have been able to pull money out of the markets. Some of them are sitting here right now, right? And they will tell you that they've been able to do that from what they have learned. And what they have learned has been able to get them to the payout level over and over again. And some of these people have been presented the opportunity with some of these firms to actually trade a live account, which is the cool thing, that these prop firms will actually move you up to a live account in the future if you prove yourself to have that consistency over time. And then those rules are not as strict as they are in the actual evaluation and in the funded stage. Now, again, another pro of this is there's limited risk to your personal capital, meaning I'm not going to spend as much money as I would in a personal account trading futures. I will spend far less, especially if I'm taking this seriously. Now, the beauty of prop firms as well is they give you a framework of risk management for you to follow. Meaning these rules, while they may be new to you because you aren't used to trading with rules, these rules will actually give you the framework to build you into a more successful trader on your personal account in the future. All right. The cons of trading with the prop account are as follows. Some of these prop firms have limited withdrawal policies, and excuse me, go back 1 second. Some of them have limited withdrawal policies. All right. You're limited to how much you were able to pull out, even if you are successful. Also, you're stuck within the rules of the prop firm. Some firms might have some rules that you're not really privy to your actual strategy. And that is very important for you to understand which firms work for you and which firms actually don't. Because there are certain strategies that won't work for some firms, but will work for others. Okay, so again, the best time for new traders that have not traded futures before is now. Like I said, with prop firms, there's never been a better time. The ability to pay your tuition, as I like to call it, towards learning how to trade. Again, that low barrier of entry, the realistic trading environment, and again, you get to trade on your own schedule.
Good stuff. We have a live Q&A session now. We do have reps from My Funded Futures with us, and we obviously also have JT here. I think before we do a live Q&A session, JT had a couple of things he may want to share with you guys about like Tradeovate and look at some charts. But lots more education here coming. I know it's late, but it's time. So all the folks that are leaving, your loss. All right, guys.
All right,
JT, it's yours. The floor is yours again, sir.
yes, sir. All right, let's go over here real quick. And then I'm going to log into my futures account. We're going to pull up Tradeovate.
Question, what does max drawdown mean?
So that means the amount of that the account can lose in total from the starter balance. So let's say it's like 50K, then you can lose like up to that $2,000. And then each day as you go forth from there, once you get to 52,000, then it locks at 50,100 as your trailing, or not your trailing, but your trailing end of day drawdown. And then that would just continue. So if you build a buffer over time, it'll get better for you over time. So all right, so
Somebody asked if we're planning education in stock data similar to one for stock. You mean so doing a futures data academy? Yes, it's built. It's being built. It'll actually probably be done within a couple of weeks. Uh, let's do questions for the MMF or MFF guys while they're here and while we're waiting on JT. Any questions about the platform itself, about how to sign up, how to like whatever. Jose will be talking about that. He's going to be pulling it up live and showing what it looks like to sign up with an account, how to buy futures, how to do all that kind of stuff. You just got to be patient. We're having some technical difficulties tonight.
Hey, I'd be happy to answer the question here for the Tradeovate question here. How does Tradeovate, MyFunded Futures, and TradingView work together? You can actually just get a Tradeovate account or TradingView or NinjaTrader, and you can actually use all three of them. Doesn't matter. You can select TradingView at checkout, and it will automatically grant you access to TradingView. Otherwise, you can still use all three of them, though. NinjaTrader you cannot use with Rhythmic, but if you select Rhythmic at checkout, you can use Rhythmic Pro on your phone. So make sure you do select Rhythmic on checkout if you want to use Rhythmic. If you select, or if you do a market order, how do you put the target and stop loss on the chart? They will go over that here soon on how to trade with Tradeovate. 20% off expert. We are extending that, I believe, for another day. Will there be a static account soon? Yes, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for our on our Discord. We'll be having some changes pretty soon, pretty exciting stuff. So stay tuned for that. Their delay in data when you use TradingView Tradeovate. So that's another really good question, actually. When you get a Tradeovate or a TradingView account with us, you actually get live data on TradingView. So we offer free level 1 data for you. You may even get like an email saying that, a Tradeovate email for market data. It's free. We cover it for you. Is there a monthly charter for Tradeovate? There is not. What's the most comfortable platform to trade on? You can trade personally. I personally recommend TradingView or Tradeovate. Those are very beginner friendly with their UI. Stop loss is not required, but it is highly recommended. Level 2 data we currently do not have, but level 1 data is for free. Starters, you pay 100 a month till you. Yes, so starter, essentially how the evaluation works with the billing, it is monthly, but if you, for example, go on to the second month, you will get a free reset no matter what. A free reset credit if you're in break even, slight drawdown, or in positive balance. Or if you by chance did fail the account at your monthly renewal, you'll get a free reset and it'll automatically reset the account.
all right, I'm back.
Perfect.
All right, so here we go. We got right. All right, can everybody see my Tradeovates?
yes, sir.
All right. So this is kind of what it looks like over here on Tradeovate. Now, you can set up these candles however you like. personally, I have it set up to where my down candles are. You guys can just see my Tradeovate screen. Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right, so personally, I have my down candles as purple, my up candles as white. Totally up to you what you want to do with that. I've got the E-mini NASDAQ up here. This is what I like to trade, the NQ, quite a bit. Now, you can set up strategies, and this is what I wanted to get into tonight, because sometimes people want to learn how to scale out of trades. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull up the micro of this, which is the MNQ, and you'll see there MNQH. And then this will be the micros here. So what I want to do is see this ATM right here. So what I want to do is I want to click this drop down, and I already have some presets here, but I want to create a new one here. So let's go to settings, and I'm going to turn on ATM, and I'm going to add a new one. So what I want to do here is, let's say that I have 10 contracts in this scenario that I want to open up each trade with. And in this scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale out half of my position once I'm up 10 points, and then have runners going after that up a certain amount. So let's do that. Let's go here with 10 contracts, and let's say we want to have 3 targets. Okay. And we'll hit OK. And what we'll do here is we'll go over here to the plus sign, and we'll click that one and then one more time, because we're saying that we want to have 3 targets. So first things first, let's say I want to take 5 off, like I said, half off in the beginning. Then I want to take, let's say, 3 off and then 2 off at the end. Now, I have it set up here where you can have take profit and stop loss for each trade. So let's say that I want to take profit when we go up 10 points, again, on half the trade. So this is based upon the number of ticks. So there are 4 ticks and a point right now. So with 4 ticks and a point, that would be 40 ticks. So I set it up for 40 ticks. All right. Next, let's say that I want to pull off the next at 60 ticks, which would be 15 points. Then I put that there. And then let's say I want to take off my last up 20 points. All right. So there is that. Now, let's say that I have a stop loss. Let's say I want to keep my stop loss even at 1R. So let's say that I want to have it 40 on all of this here. Okay. Now you can change your stop loss type. You can take it to a trailing if you like, but that's the way that I have it set up. And then we will go to save here. Okay, so what happens now, as you can see up at the top here, it says 10 contracts with 3 targets. So I want to start it off with 10 contracts. And let's just go ahead and sell market. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so this one didn't work. Let's see. Oh, that's because we can't trade more than 5 contracts with this. So let's go with 5 and let's redo this. So let's go, because of 50K. So let's just do a new one real quick. 5 contracts. Sorry, guys. And then we'll do 3, 2, or 3, 1, and then 1. And then we'll take profit at 40, 60, 80. It's just like that. So 5 contracts. Okay. And then let's just sell market here. And what you'll see here is that we have our take profits below us. And you'll also see that our stop loss is sitting right here. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing, right? So automatically it's already set up. So I don't need to move anything, and everything looks perfectly fine. So beautiful way to set up an ATM strategy. This is something that's very important that you guys need to pay attention to, because this kind of sticks you in the framework of a trade. All right. So again, someone's asking, can you explain ticks to points? Again, there are 4 ticks per point. So every point, meaning if the NASDAQ goes here from 72.75 up to 73.75, that would be 1 point. Each tick would be a quarter. Okay. So ATM is an automated trading strategy here. So now MNQ is $2 per point. If we're trading NQ, then it would be $20 per point. Now, I'm unsure about the trailing stop on TradingView. I have not experienced that and I have not used that. Is there a way to set your first 3 contracts to break even after? Yes. So what you can do here is if we go to settings here and you see where it says auto break even. Okay. So I can change it to auto break even once the stop loss hits, let's say I go up 5 points. Okay. So 5 points will be 20 ticks. And then this would be, let's say I want to give myself a couple ticks of excess, meaning I'm not going to move it to break even. Let's say I want to lock in at least 2 ticks. So it'll put it 2 ticks above break even. Okay. So that's what we would do here. So then I'd put this to auto break even on all of these. All right. So they're all set up the same way. And then we hit save. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit this position real quick. If I just click that exit all and mark it at close, what it's doing, it'll close all my orders and it will also close all of my positions. I strongly suggest whenever you step off the charts, always make sure that you do that. Okay, because otherwise what happens is that sometimes you might walk away, you might have a rogue order out there and it'll get triggered. It's happened to me before during a CPI data, and that's actually hurt me. I actually lost my account that way because it hit a order that I had sitting out there. I didn't hit that exit all at market at close all order button, and unfortunately I got hit with an order randomly. Didn't know it. Wasn't a good feeling. But again, you got to take responsibility for that. So if I sell at market here with these 5 contracts, again, you are going to have that same setup, right? Your stop loss is set up there. And then once we get to a certain point, I can't make the market move, but let's say, let's just change it for the sake of changing it here. Let's say that we want to move our stop loss to break even when we go up 4 ticks. Okay, just for the sake of the exercise here. We'll save, we'll exit all of these, and then we'll just hit sell market. So hopefully the market moves down in our favor for this example, but here we go. All right, so do you go over this in the Discord? I'm much more in detail in the Discord, like way more detailed. All right, see how it automatically moved my stop loss to break even right there? All right, so very simple, very seamless. Everything is automated. So I'm not having to worry about it. What it's doing for me is it's taking care of the order, it's taking care of my strategy, and I don't have to touch anything, right? It's a beautiful thing, right? And yeah. So in futures, sell would be the go short and buy would be long plays. That's correct, yes. Now, let's say that some people want to do market orders, right? Or they want to have a limit order set up, right? So I'm going to exit this position, even though it's working out. But let's say that I want to, let's take off my ATM strategy. And let's just say I want to buy limit right here. So I'll take 5 contracts right here. If we go long, let's say I'll just take it right here. Let's see if the market comes into it, right? So that's my limit order. I can drag these orders up and down, no problem. So I want to get long at this point right here. Okay. It's now running away from me. All right, let me just drag it up here so it'll trigger. It's running away from me. There we go. Okay, whatever. Filled my order, right? So right now I'm long 5 contracts. Now, let's say that I want to put a stop order in, right? All I do is click the chart, hit sell stop right here, and I've got a stop order right here. Let's say that I want to do a target. I just go up here, hit sell limit, and it'll sell the limit up there. Now, the problem is, right, is if you do this, both of these orders are separate and not tied to the actual trade. Okay, so that's very important to understand that because one of these orders will get filled and the other one will not get filled, right? So that order will remain out there, okay? And then that will be a problem for you. Okay, so you want to make sure that, again, no matter what happens, no matter how you're trying to place your orders, make sure you hit this exit all right here at the end. Okay. All right. Yep, because you don't want that ghost order. And yeah, I've had it. It's not fun. So again, exit all right here to get out. You can have multiple ATM strategies. Absolutely. You can set up as many as you want. What I think is great, right, is you want to set up multiple ATM strategies for multiple points. So let's say that you have a 10-point stop loss, a 15-point stop loss, a 20-point stop loss. You have different types of setups. Okay. So with those setups, you're going to set up different ATMs based upon the risk that you want to put on. So I primarily look at this like this. So, and this is a very important rule. Whatever your drawdown is, divided by 20, that's what your risk should be per trade. Okay? That means that on a 50K account, if I take my drawdown, let's say it's $2,000. Okay? That's $2,000 divided by 20, that's $100. So that should be my size based upon my risk. Okay? So if it's $2 per point, right, per contract for MNQ, then if I have one MNQ contract on $100, right, that means I got a 50-point stop loss on one contract for that risk parameter. Okay, let's say I have 2 contracts, then that's 25 points of risk. Let's say I have 3 contracts, then that's about what, give or take 16 and a half points, something like that. You're starting to understand what I'm saying to you here, right? So that's a good way for you over time to test out your strategy. A lot of people get into the prop firms and they buy the big accounts. They buy the NQ mini contracts and they don't actually get anything out of it. And you know why? Because they're trading size that is way outside of their risk that they should be taking on those accounts. Even if you've got a big account, that taking even one mini contract on a 50K can be sometimes too much, right? So just some rules of thought for me to give to you guys with the experience that I have had in this space. It's very important to consider trading micros way before you even think about trading your first mini contracts. So you have to have that 20 trades, right? And this is what's important. This is why I bring up the 20 trade thing. In 20 trades, you should be able to figure out if your strategy is working right now. Okay? If it's not working, it'll tell you in 20 trades. I assure you that. You will find out. And it's not because you oversized in either direction. It's because you actually manage your risk properly, right? So that's where, and then you might say, okay, maybe I need to tweak something. Maybe there's something off, but that's over 20 trades. A lot of people take one losing trade and blow their account, right? They'll take one losing trade and they'll just blow their account. They'll go long or short. They'll move their stop loss. They'll not take profit. They'll do whatever. And next thing you know, their account's blown. They'll add contracts. They'll add contracts. They'll just keep going on. So that is what is not good, right? That is not going to work for you in the futures market, and it will never work for you, no matter how successful you think you may be. All it takes is one trade to blow you up, period. Again, this is a long process. This is something that you want to work out over time. So once you do that and you work it out over time, everything will work out for you. All right. So these are just a couple little tidbits about that. So the difference between micros and minis, again, and I'll say this one more time, micros represent 1/10 the price of a mini contract. So a mini contract for NASDAQ, for example, moves $20 per point. For micro, it's $2 per point. Sorry, how would you calculate the risk on a 150K account? So the drawdown's 4,500. So 4,500 divided by 20, that would be my risk per trade. Okay, that's what I would ideally look for my risk per trade. Is there a specific time of day there is more market movement in futures? Yes. So Asian market is pretty slow. There is some movement sometimes whenever you see that we have some big economic data coming out in Asia. You might see some of those things, or we might have a speaker here in the United States speaking later on in the evening. So that does happen from time to time. But besides that, we also have the London session. Now, the London session is a lot more active. I'd say between 1:30, 2 o'clock, we start to push. And then once the New York session opens, and it really starts to get going. All right. So after that, hopefully that answered your question. I personally like NQ versus ES just because it moves more. That's just me. That's a personal preference. Some people don't like that. Also, the reason why I like NQ so much is it's very polarizing, meaning that there are certain names like Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft. All of those names have such a huge weight on the index. So because they do, if I pay attention to those stocks and know what they're doing, I know what NQ is going to be doing on a bias. All right. So if one of those stocks has a big day, I know that the NASDAQ is going to be affected in that way. ES is a 500 stocks. Yes, those are in there. Yes, those are weighted heavily as well in there. But sometimes there'll be some lagging for a particular sector that maybe the banking sector, maybe something's going on, something else. So that's why I prefer NQ. Do you think option traders have an easy transition to futures? Yes, only when they realize that they need to change their mindset. Okay, because I think a lot of option traders, what happens is that they get that mindset to where they have to, how do I say this? They are focused on, like I was saying at the beginning of the education when we got into it, you would have a cash account, let's say with $5,000, and you'd used up already $4,000 of your cash account. You had $1,000 left, and then you took a position and you weren't comfortable with it, but you didn't want to sell it because you said, "Oh, I want to see my trade play out," and then you don't sell it, and then it ends up losing you a lot of money, right? Or you do sell it, and then you have that FOMO feel, you feel there, and that kind of discourages you, and that puts you in a bad position mentally, right? So what it comes down to futures is you got to be able to never be attached to anything. You're never married to a single trade, no matter what it is, no matter how good it is, even if it's paying you. You're trying to get what you want out of that trade to squeeze it out, and that's it. A lot of times, especially as beginners, you try to focus on trying to get as much out of a trade as possible. It's better off for you to be working on singles and doubles and getting those and stacking those up over time, and not trying to focus too much on those huge, 5-to-1, 3-to-1, even more than 3-to-1 trades. You're better off going for 1-to-1 trades over and over again as a beginner, just to get your feet wet and to get understanding of how this market actually works. Okay, so I do believe that transition is great, and I do believe that transition is freeing for traders. Again, I traded options for over 17 years strictly, and then I moved from there, right? Because when we had this ability to be on a different platform like this, trading with prop firms and moving on to this, I saw no better opportunity than with this. After getting filled on a limit order, can you attach an ATM strategy after? No, you cannot do that. So what I would suggest, again, is focusing on, you can put a trail stop order, which, let me see here. I think you might have to set it up a certain way. I know you can do it on mobile with the trail stop because I do that sometimes. Will my account be penalized or breached if I leave a trade open at the end of the day? No, it will not be penalized. We did the giveaway already. Sorry about that. Hey, JT, is there a place I can paper trade futures? That way I can learn how to lose without losing money. Yes, so you can open up a Tradeovate account for free. Also, I think that TradingView actually has paper trading accounts to trade futures. You just got to open one up. So you can just do it on TradingView. My suggestion, though, is that once you get your feel of it, you definitely want to put at least some risk on the table, because that psychological barrier that you need to get through when it comes with trading, you got to do that. Even if it's trading the smallest size possible, You definitely want to take care of that. Guys, I'm going through these questions one by one. So when you place a limit order or stop loss or TP might not trigger, why is that? So if I place a limit order and my stop loss or TP might not get triggered, why is that? So it has to hit your level. Sometimes there might not be contracts there to fill your order completely. That's actually happened to me before where there weren't enough contracts traded at that price. So I did not get filled at that price. When you did the market order for 5 manual without the ATM, you can't take partials or you have to close 5. So you can take partials. So for example, if I buy 5 here, and then I bought 5 here, and then instead of 5, I just go here and change this order to 1. And then so now I can sell 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Okay, so I can do that.
ఇష్టమా లేదు నా డౌట్ కి నేను
Somebody
ఫోన్
want
చేసి
to keep that
తెలవాలి. ఆ,
loose if
5
you're still
గంటలు
here. So without using an ATM, you don't have to set, I'm reading these. So without using an ATM, you don't have to set a TP, or you don't have to set multiple targets. You can set the parameters. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. That trade would have run for some profit. Yep. It would have run for some profit. Do I trade right at the open, Gabriel? I like to trade at the open sometimes. It depends upon what's going on. I actually like to trade from about 6:30 in the morning, even a little bit earlier, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then up to about 11 o'clock. So that's primarily my time frame. I do wake up at 5:30 every single day. So that's primarily when I am trading. After you get a filled on a limit order, can it be attached to ATM? I think I answered that. Sorry, going down. Do futures expire on the same? Do futures trade expire on the same day? No, so they do expire monthly, right? So you'll have paper trading I just covered. When you did the market order 5 manual without ATM, you can't take partials. I answered that question. It's good advice. Yes, it is on the 1-to-1. Do you think trading both is good as well? A lot of traders. Do you think trading both is good as well? A lot of traders both do options and futures. So I'm gonna be honest with you, just full transparency. I think it's important to focus on when you're building a process, you want to focus on that process. You don't want to be distracted with other things. So if you're trying to learn a new skill, learn that new skill. I do think it's important for traders to have different silos, right? So long-term, short-term, medium-term, whatever. But you don't want to mix in too much short-term because what happens is you'll get stretched thin. And you want to, again, focus on the one thing that you can do well. All right. Do you also chart through Tradeovate, or do you use another platform? So I do like to use TradingView to do my charting personally. I do chart on TradingView. I have most of the tools available here that I need for TradingView, or excuse me, for Tradeovate. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that I do have personally that I do like to use on TradingView, including Daddy Algo that we will have coming out. Not trying to sell you anything, but at the same time, I do really like the Tradeovate platform once you get used to it. Here's a little key that I think a lot of people hate the Tradeovate platform, that they don't know how to do this. And I'll pay attention to this. I think that some of you guys struggle with this. So if you go over here to chart settings, you see this continuous auto fit. You want to turn that off. Okay, this will drive you nuts. Okay, if you don't figure that out, turn that off. You'll be able to go in and out of your the zoom on your trades a lot easier. I know that drives people nuts. Okay, how does an account transition from sim to real after passing a challenge? So what happens is they will give you, when you pass a challenge, they will send you the credentials after they approve that you have passed that challenge successfully without fail. And then if you get to a certain point on a sim funded account, they will actually give you a live funded account if they think that you have proved that you are successful over time through multiple payouts and hitting a certain payout threshold over time. Okay. cheers. I live in Australia, so trading live markets wasn't working for me. 10 p.m. open. Futures appeals friendly to me as it's more time friendly. Do you consistently trade pre-market as well as I like someone? Yes. So I like to trade again early pre-market. So if you're out there, I totally understand. I definitely like to trade the hours in the pre-market. And we was actually talking to Aaron we work together also at Stock Dads, and Aaron is actually considering waking up and trading the Europe Open. So yeah, totally something that you definitely want to consider. The codes, I think that we've posted the codes, so if somebody wants to post those again, please feel free. Can you explain futures expirations? Yeah, so each quarter there will be an expiration of contracts. So right now we're in the March contract. Now, depending upon what instrument you're trading, you're going to have different expiration of contracts. Sometimes they have just monthly contracts. For NASDAQ and for the S&P, we have quarterly contracts. So right now we have the March contract. And then after this, I believe we're going into the June contract, then the September contract, and then the December contract. So there are different months for that. That will have a different letter behind each name. So if you go here, if I just type in M and Q, and you will see that we have the M contract, and then we have the U contract, and then we have the Z contract. So the H5 contract is actually the March contract for 2025. Okay, so these are all traded at the same time. That being said, whenever we get close to expiration, you'll see people migrate to the next contract. So we're currently running into the rollover week of the March contract that's coming up. So you'll start to see people migrate from the H contract to the M contract. Okay. Can I leave a trade the next day or week if I'm trading micros? So they don't allow you to swing right now. Are futures trading primarily for scalping or for day trading? So it's totally up to you. So you can scalp futures if you want, but you can also day trade them. It's truly based upon your size and the risk that you're willing to take on each trade. Okay, because if you're going to be day trading, you're going to have to be able to manage your size to be able to take that little bit of loss. And that's why it's important. In this webinar, we did talk about the importance of risk and understanding what that risk is whenever you put on a trade. Again, very important with ES, it's $5 per point on the micros, per point on the minis, it's $50. For NASDAQ, $20 for the minis, and it is $2 for the micros. Those are the most commonly traded ones. That's why I'm mentioning them. So you need to be able to manage your risk properly. For futures personal account, can we swing trade? You can, yes, on a personal account, but you have to have the margin as they mentioned. You got to have the margin requirements. And again, that is the problem. If you have a personal account and you want to swing trade, or if you want to trade in general, you're going to have the margin available to trade that. And that is hard for somebody that's just starting trading futures. Again, the goal here is to get a fund to get an evaluation, learn the process, okay, then get funded. Then after you get funded, then take that funded to the next level, to the live stage. And then after the live stage, you can open up your own personal account later on. Again, it's a step over time. No need to rush it. Take your time with this. I promise you, you're going to like this in the long run. If you don't mind sharing this info, what's been your biggest gain and biggest loss in trading futures? So my biggest gain in trading futures, I had made over $20,000 in a single trade trading NASDAQ. I've also lost over $30,000 trading futures as well. My biggest loss actually did come from trading options, though. It happened during COVID. It was when it was actually $45,000 in a single day. And it was when Trump said that he did not want to do the stimulus checks anymore. And that screwed me over because I was fully leveraged long and I lost $25,000 in minutes. And then I switched to short, and then next thing you know, everything reversed, and then it ended up being like a $40,000 loss in total. It was pretty brutal. Something that definitely I had to take a step back for a minute. Appreciate it, some traders. So you'll log off. What levels do you rely on in trading, and how do you calculate them daily? So me personally, I actually use Fibonacci's very frequently. Okay. So that's a big part of my plan. I like to use volume profile. As you see on the right side of the chart here, we have the volume profile. I like to use that very much. So there are other things that I like to use as well. I also have some levels that I have developed over time, and a way of me finding levels for a daily, literally hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly levels for anything. And my students that have taken my courses over the years have learned these levels, and they no longer need me anymore. But it's not something that I just give away, to be frank with you. It's something that we will possibly do in a future class mastermind, who knows? But yes, that's what I use on a daily basis. Again, my key focus though is definitely Fibonacci and definitely using volume profile. Okay. Do I use the DOM? So I do like to use the DOM. Okay, I do like to use the DOM. I do like to use the order flow, but primarily what you'll see here, and I may not be able to pull this up. Might have to pull up my funded account here. Hold on one second. So this is the funded account that I have. I think I have to add the add-ons here. We'll not be able to do this right now on this, but I will use a bid-ask chart. So, and on that bid-ask chart, I'll be able to see, it's kind of like a footprint chart. See if you've ever seen a footprint chart. So I do like to use those because it shows me where the orders are at. So I do like to use that a lot. But I do like to look at the time and the sales. The DOM, you got to have a good DOM software. There are better DOM softwares on NinjaTrader. So if you do use NinjaTrader, which I do use NinjaTrader, sometimes whenever I'm at home, I'll have NinjaTrader up on the left with my software, with everything running, as well as if I'm using a Tradeovate account over on the right to execute. So there's, yep, no time limit on passing, still going down. So how to enter a trade, I think we went over that. Trading GC, what happens if you mess up the trade in the wrong chart when it changes? So if you're trading the wrong contract, is that what you mean? Okay, so by the way, if you want to re-ask that question, I'll get to it. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down the list. And I appreciate it, guys. I'm trying to answer every question. As you see, I'm here for you. So those of you that are still here, the 200 of you that are still here, listen to me right now. The 400 people that left, who cares? They may have had a life. They may have had things that they need to do. But the people that are sitting here right now, right? You're the ones that matter, okay? Because you guys are willing to put in the work. You're willing to get that education. You're willing to take it to the next step for what you need to do to be successful. Okay. So that's what's important. I want to applaud you for being here. I saw some people making some negative comments, whatever else. Screw that. Like, people are going to be negative no matter what. I'm here to help you guys. That's what I'm here to do. So is there an issue with inactivity? No, there's no issue for inactivity. I think you do have to trade one contract though every 30 days. I love trading options and leverage Greeks. Do you know a platform where I can trade options on futures? So, Nick, you can trade options on futures, I believe, with TD, which is now Schwab. I think they offer it. I think that's the one that I can recommend to you. Yeah, Austin, I got to be honest with you. I'm seeing that you guys are favoring futures, but I'm going to be honest with you. I've got my upcoming, it'll be coming up, but futures is the way to go. Like, again, I traded for many, many, many years. Many, many, many years. And this, I have come over to futures and I'm not going back. I'm just being honest. I'm just not going back. So could we use similar technical analysis as an options for futures, or is it? So if you're familiar with technical analysis, yes, a lot of things will work the same. What's going to be a little bit different is you're going to have to be a little bit more precise with your entries. Maybe you'll have a little bit more leeway sometimes when it comes to trading stocks or maybe options. but not really, you know, because sometimes if you're trading like 0 to count contracts, if you get in the wrong thing, you're instantly down 20+%, and that can get pretty ugly. It really comes down to risk management, and that's what it comes down to, honestly, and sticking to your rules and your process over time. I still have an open position, but this is just a demo account for me to do this information. So Forex futures move exactly the same as the CFD Forex. Yes, they do. They move exactly the same. There's absolutely no difference. Zero difference. It's the same exact chart. Same exact chart, even for gold. So if you go to the CME website, you can see when those contracts do expire. Trading gold, what happens if you mess up and trade the wrong chart when it changes? Okay, so you will never trade. It won't allow you to trade a contract that doesn't exist anymore. Okay. It won't allow you to do that. So you won't have to worry about that when something expires. Hopefully that answers your questions. How many trades do you think you take on average per week? Well, let's see. So far this week, I will tell you exactly how many trades I've taken. So far this week, I've taken 17 trades. Okay, that includes Sunday, Monday, and today. So I've taken 17 trades in total. All right. Do you currently trade both options and futures? So right now, honestly, I just trade futures. I do have my options watch list that I put out every single day still because I think it gives a lot of value to people, and I don't want to give that up. So that's why I still put it out. Thank you for being here. So Angie, I do on Thursdays, every Thursday from 9:15 to 11, I'm in the Discord live. Okay, outside of that, we're always putting out alerts. Yep, volume profile fibs. We will have courses in the future. So personally, it's totally up to you on what account you do decide to pick. Someone was asking, do I pick a 50K, 100K, 150K? Totally up to you. What you do want to notice is that the 50K account will have the best risk reward ratio when it comes to account sizes. So that's one thing that I want to note. So you want to pay attention to that. So the best risk reward, meaning what the drawdown is versus the profit target. Now, over time, this is my little take on this would be this. This would be the pathway, right? Take the 50K account, okay? Pass the 50K account, get a payout from the 50K account. Take that money that you've gotten from that 50K account, keep it, of course, give yourself a buffer, and then invest in it 100K. And then slowly over time, you just get up to the highest amount, and then you've got that bigger account, and then there you go. And then you get the live funded account at the end of the day, and then personal account in the future. Totally up to you. Thank you, Sage, for being here. I think you left.
Yeah, you have to go attend another meeting, but I'm still here. Appreciate
Okay,
you
great.
doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Is the 50K count? Is the 50K count only allowed 5 contracts regardless of mini and micro? Yes, I believe so. That's correct,
With
right?
with the starter, you actually do get 1 to 10 scaling on the contract, so you can do up to 50 micros on the starter plan. There is scaling, so you start off with 2 minis and 20 micros, but as more profits you make, then you get access to more contracts.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for joining the Discord. Great. Long live, Chef. It is a long live. Hey, but guess what? It is what it is. Ace, I love that you're here. JT is making us blush. It's 400 people are a cash cow. JT FYE, yes, Shima, I see you. Shima, I know Shima for a minute. So I wish I could trade live every day, UK. My ability to trade live every day is just not there anymore. So my Discord channel and Stock Dads is the Chef Futures. Any suggestions on books to read about futures? So my number one suggestion is Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone. Anything Mark Douglas, 100%, all the way. Trading futures is all about mindset, guys. So, okay. Love this. Finally got kids to bed, and now I can focus 100% again. I just got better not doing max and Q when trading futures. That's how I get into trouble. Yeah, you know what? You got to be careful with that. You don't want to oversize. So what's the contract for XAUSD? So XAUUSD, you would be trading GC. So this is the H contract here for GC, which is actually about to expire. So you'll be trading the J contract. Here we go. All right, and this is the most active contract. Okay, this is going to be exact same chart as XAUUSD. What's your opinion on futures, indices, and options for individuals? What's your opinion on futures for indices and options for? Okay, actually, I love that. So I think that if you're going to focus on the indexes, I think it's better to focus on trading futures personally. But as far as options, I would say that from a stock standpoint can be a little bit better. Now, there will be opportunities in the future for, and I know this is a little bit early, and these already do exist. There are prop firms that will allow you to trade stock, actual US-based prop firms that will allow you to trade stock. They're not, they did a revamp, so I'm waiting for them to get that done. But there are ones that do that, and that will be a great tool for people that like to trade stock in general, shares. So let's say you buy 100 shares of something as opposed to buying an option contract. So I think that's pretty cool. Can we trade MFF accounts on Tradeovate? Yes, you can. You can use a copy trader. You can't use an ATM if you use a group trader. So they have a group trading function. So my recommendation is looking towards other copy trading software like Replicanto, ATS. There's a couple of them. Just look into it. You'll have to do a little bit of research. How much of profits are we able to be withdrawn? So 100% of the first $10,000 and then 90-10 profit split. The starter accounts, you can only withdraw the drawdown for the first 60 days every 2 weeks. So let's say 50K, let's say it's $2,000. Then you can do that $2,000 every 2 weeks for the first 2 months. Futures will help you find your risk reward problem right away. That is 100% correct. And I think people need to understand that the beauty of futures is you're actually going to understand what the problem is in your trading much faster than you think. Okay. Because when you're trading options, right? You're trading when you're trading options, you're trading an asset derived from another asset. Okay. So you got a complex instrument there. All right. So you're having to figure that complex instrument out on top of the fact of you trading the chart, right? And one of those things may be going against you because it's a complex instrument, and you might find yourself actually being in the right trade, but not. Okay. So you don't want to do that. Like you don't want to be in that scenario, right? And for me, it's like I would feel much more comfortable trading futures when it comes to trading the indexes because, hey, I might be in the wrong trade. I can get out of it. If I'm in an option trade, I may be less likely to actually close that trade when I probably should. JV, you trade crypto futures is similar? It's pretty similar, yeah. Do you need to trade Vate account to use my funded futures? No, so they will send you the credentials, so you don't have to worry about that. You can trade gold micros, absolutely. So gold micros is MGC. So, yeah, beautiful. Can you copy trade on Tradeovate to NinjaTrader? You can if you use Like I said, Replicanto is one of them. Do I trade the news? Never. Don't trade the news with futures. First of all, you can't even trade news on futures with some people. Coming from Forex, I've gotten used to XAU USD from Onana. Can I use the same analysis and execute on Tradevate? Absolutely. Chart's exactly the same. You're not going to see anything different. I always see other futures get in and out within seconds or minutes. Are futures generally this volatile, or is it their style of trading? So it is probably part of their style of trading, right? At the same time, with futures, to be frank with you, you can make decent money on a small on a decent small enough move, and that's all you need for the day, right? This trade is running, I think, right? Yeah. But anyways, it's funny. So, but yeah, but yeah, it's basically scalping. A lot of people will do a lot of scalping when it comes to trading, but you can also get into a position and just trail it up, holding it all day. Like for a perfect example is Friday, right? We had such a big up move, right? If you had just bought one contract and trailed it up all day long, you would have been fine, right? Nice. See you, Shima. Thank you. Is there a way to do ATM on TradingView? Yes, you can. I will show you that here in a little bit. If you don't mind, I'm going to pull up Tradevate or TradingView in a minute. But I'm going to try to get through these questions, which I'm answering all your guys' questions. What do you mean then get a live funded account? What are the different types of accounts? So again, you got the evaluation, then you've got the sim funded account, simulated funded account. And then if you start to prove yourself to get enough payouts and to prove yourself as a trader, then they will give you a live funded account. So an actual live funded account. All right. When I say your option strategies translate to futures. So my option strategies are a little bit different. A lot of my option strategies actually deviate from daily levels of stocks that need to break certain levels. And then once they do, that's how I translate them over to futures. So it does relate when it's related to the indexes, but those are not happening every single day. Thank you, Gabriel. Mark Douglas is the man. Do you have preferred days to trade? So my preferred days to trade are definitely the middle of the week. I would say Tuesday through Wednesday. Mondays and Fridays is tough, to be honest. Mondays usually are hitting the same levels as Fridays. And you also notice that actually Monday and Tuesday kind of ran into each other this week. But the whole move that we made on Friday, a lot of it was eaten up today, Monday and Friday, or Monday and today. So Fridays can sometimes be a little volatile as well. We sometimes have news at 10 o'clock on Fridays or 8:30. That can be a big deal. Just left my kitchen job while listening to this. Is very hyped for this. Awesome. Glad you're working in the kitchen. Represent. I'm currently looking into your futures alert. Could you explain an alert? Yeah. So whenever I get into an alert, basically the way it is I'm telling you the price that I get into NASDAQ. And then from that, I will give you two numbers, which is 15, 15, which is usually what I do, which is a 15-point stop loss and a 15-point take profit. So really, I'm just looking for that one-to-one trade. Sometimes I'll look for 30, 15, or more than that. That's primarily what I'm looking at, or that's primarily what I'm trying to do. How do we connect everything together from TradingView to my funded futures? Again, we'll go over that here in a minute when I get over to TradingView. Please be patient. Awesome, Nathan. Thank you so much. Is there a link to the Discord again? Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Schwab. And Schwab just met us, so I appreciate that. He didn't even come over from FYE, so I'm really happy with that. Yep, you're fighting fade on options, not something that you want to fight anymore. How many NQ trades do you typically call out a day? Yep, that's answer that question. This is kind of confusing with the different type of tickers. Again, we try to provide, there are some pen things in our Discord where we provide the different symbols that we do have. Take care, Mike. You probably left. What's the minimum capital needed to start futures on a personal account? Honestly, a lot. You can trade small accounts if you want. I think that you're going to have at least $500 to $1,000 and then just trade one micro. That's what I would look for if you were going to do that, if you're going to take that route. But I would only trade micros. Don't even consider trading a mini. Can we trade future Forex micros, and what are the contracts names? Yes, so they are, if you just type in the number 6, so you'll see them here. So if I go to 6E, this is the euro contract. Okay, this is euro dollar right here. If I go to 6B, this is the pound right here. Okay. And then I can just go to like 6A, that's the Australian dollar right here. Okay. And there are micros for these as well. So just try and look these up. Thank you for answering the question though. Nice, Lady Leverage, to see you here. Favorite confluence in trading futures definitely is going to be whenever you have fibs matching up with the volume profile setup is always my favorite. That's usually what I'm looking for primarily, or confluence of a prior low. Also love when we have look above and fails, look below and fails when it comes to trading futures. What I mean by that, say we get a tick above a low or above a high and then come back in. I like to take that short, or if we go a tick below a low and then come back up, I like to take that long trade all the time. Okay. Well, market makers won't let us stay in the trade for a long time. They do too many swings, up, down. Yep, stop loss hunting. What you'll see is that the futures, especially when it comes to indexes, you'll see a lot of backing and filling, as Aaron likes to say. So backing and filling. So let me tell you the caveat of trading on TradingView. And again, we'll look at that here in just a moment. I just want to make sure I answer all the questions. I know you guys are still asking them, and try to, if you can hold the questions just for a minute so I can get down to that. TradingView lags slightly. Okay, you're going to see a lot more when you're on Tradeovate. You're going to see every tick as it happens. You're not going to see it the same when it comes to TradingView. Sometimes, especially when the market's moving fast, next thing you know, your order is already going to be wiped out. So my preferred time to trade is, again, between 5:30 and 11 o'clock every day. All right. Once the evaluation is passed, how long could we simulated accounts before we get to funded accounts? Do we need to pay the monthly during sim accounts to use MFF? No. So there's no monthly fee. You just pay a one-time fee, or on the experts, you don't pay any fee at all. So that's the beauty about that. Plus, you got the discount right now on the starter if you want to go with the starter. So no, you're not paying a fee. You're not paying a monthly fee. Apex, you're paying a monthly fee all the time. I'll show you all the TradingView stuff in here in a minute. See you answering all these questions. Is stock spam coupon valid for the first month? Thank you for answering that question. So what exactly is a sim account? It's not a real account. How can you get payouts if it's simulated? So they answered that a question. Thank you. Hi, if we purchase an account, how long do we have to trade? Thank you. Can you give us an example of confluence of fibs versus volume profile? So thank you for the support, Dhruv. Sorry if I butchered your name, Mr. Patel. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's give an example of fib structure, right? Let's try and find one here. So I can't necessarily pull up a profile at this point, but let's do this. So I will pull up a Fibonacci retracement. Oh, by the way, real quick, okay? So over here, the settings, not settings, indicators tab, you want to go to explore community indicators. So you want to use something called an fibs for C, or just go to fib, scroll down. The reason why I'm telling you this, guys, this fib retracement tool right here, this is the one that I use. I just had to update my Trade-Evate, so unfortunately it's not on here. So I had to re-download it. So 1 second. So you can see this right here. The reason why is because when you draw these fibs, they're going to be correct. For whatever reason, the Trade-Evate fibs are backwards. Drives me nuts. So again, that's why I picked this tool. And then, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you a trade that I took right here this morning. If you go from this high and you drag it down to this low right here, okay, and then you see right here that we hit our golden pocket right here between that 50 and 61.8, and we get that retracement, and my target is always this negative 23.6. Okay, so this is a type of trade that I will take, and this is something that I will look for. Okay, and you'll see this a lot when you're trading futures. They really like to respect the fibs. The problem, and a lot of people like to dog fibs. They're dogging fibs because they're using them wrong. Okay, that's just the facts. So you'll notice that a lot of trading that you'll see when it comes in the futures market, you'll see fib structures work very well. Okay, and I'm always looking for that pullback for that to play out. So that's just an idea of a situation that I would like. It's AM, yep. 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. If we fail the starter, do you do a reset? Okay, I really appreciate you answering on these questions in the back end. Safe internal temp to pork. John, let me actually be honest with you here on this one. So, depends what kind of pork it is, right? Because some people like to have pork chops and they like to have them a little bit under, right? And then some people like to have things cooked all the way through. Now, when in the restaurant, to be honest with you, I cook everything to 165 all the way through, except if you order a steak, like a beef steak, like a steak, like a ribeye or whatever, filet, whatever it may be. Or if you order, that's pretty much it, right? Because everything else, I want to cook all the way through. I don't want that complaint because most people are not ordering to temperature for me. So I'm always cooking things at 165, so I never have any issues. But that's just me, right? But we know 145, 155, depending upon the protein, up to 165. Yeah, so 145, depending upon the protein. You always trade the 15, so I like the 15. The 15 tells me the trend. Okay. The 15 tells me the trend. I do like the 2-minute though. I trade the 2-minute actively. So when the market is moving, I trade the 2-minute quite actively. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate it. $155 and carryover cook. What's the fib indicator called? Fibs 4C. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, guys. Yep. This is, and what's great about it is you can actually edit the fibs. So if you click on this, you can edit them and then you save as default. If you want a 2-minute on there, you got to go here to time period, then go to custom time right here, and then type in 2. Save. Mr. Patel says, have you ever had or cooked Indian food? So I love chicken. You know what? I didn't really get exposed to Indian food until recently, to be honest with you. I don't love curry too much. Just to be honest, but I love fucking butter chicken. I mean, butter chicken is the best. Um, I could eat butter chicken every single day. I really do like it. I think it's really good. I think it's one of the best things that you can make. So, do you ever take your fibs from the start of London session? Yeah, I've got strategies for that, Gabriel. There's a lot of strategies that I have depending upon sessions. I actually like to use the time zones. That is part of my trading. So I think we got to get over here to the Tradeovate here. Little non, yeah, please try some Haitian food. I do need to try. Bro started a war. Yeah, I do need to try some Haitian food. We still got 159 people here. Nice. I appreciate y'all being here. Awesome. So this is still running up a little bit here. So I like to use the 2, the 5, and the 15. Do my daily analysis on the daily chart and weekly analysis. I will use the weekly, but it gets to the point where you start to actually just understand price action and you really start to get the feel of what the weekly may look like. I'm not using too much in the way of indicators, so I'm really just focused on the price action. Take care. I appreciate you being here, Certified Brown. I think that, by the way, are you guys enjoying this? One in the chat if you're enjoying this right now, because the people were dogging this webinar at the beginning here, and I'm just sitting here like, you guys are just not being patient. You're just missing all the sauce, all the good stuff at the end. It's okay, you know, they didn't want to stay. That's fine. I saw somebody dogging my funded futures, and I'm like, dude, you didn't even, are you even here? Did you even stay? No. So yeah, they just wanted a handout, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'm actually gonna pull out TradingView now. And I want to show you guys this here. So let's do that here. Okay, you guys can see my trading view. So make sure you guys can see my trading view.
It's a little messed up here.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me try again.
There you go. All good now.
We're good now?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think I switched it between monitors. I think that was the problem. So if you want to trade on TradingView, I'm actually gonna show you a setup that I showed on my live yesterday. Okay, that everybody was bragging about. So if I pull up this 15-minute chart and I go back here, and I want you to see this here. But if we go from this low down here to this high, right? Is that the one I drew? I think I drew, nope, I drew this one right here. This is the one I drew right here. Yep. From this low to high here. The reason why I did that is because this low, we dipped in. Anyway, I was valuing this low right here. You can still use this one. Either one of them worked. The point was this. If you go back and I made this line here on the chart, okay, if you go to the daily chart here, I want you to notice something. So right here, we had this prior high, okay? This prior high, we broke out up and over. So this is an example of a look above and fail, okay? So you can see that right here, we went above it. And I said yesterday, that if price got below that 18,145 level, that we would see that the price would come in. And if we were to break the fib structure of this long, then we could really start to come down. And I did not expect us to do this today, but we ended up taking back the entire move today. And if you had taken that short from this line right here all the way down, you know, that's 300 plus points in the NASDAQ. Okay. So, you know, this is just an example of a long setup failing and taking advantage of it. And this is the type of trading that I like to do. So that is what I look for. Okay. Now back to Tradeovate and learning how to trade on here when it comes to the platform. So give me 1 second. I want to log in here real quick. I'm going to pause this. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to show the indicators here in a minute. So, we're going to take this off. So this is what I want to do. If I want to trade on TradingView, I've already hooked up my Tradeovate. I log into it. If you click down here, you'll see trading panel, you'll click Tradeovate, and then you'll log into your account. Okay. Now, what I want to do is if I right click the chart and then I go to trade and then I go to create new order. Okay. Now here's my new order tab. Okay. This is for NQ right here. Now, let me change this to MNQ real quick. Okay. So this is my current MNQ trade. You can see my sell limit order on one remaining contract on this winning trade that we took. There is my stop loss right here. So let's say that I want to set a sell stop order on this order. So what I would do is I click this and then I would hit sell stop order, sell stop right here. Okay. And that puts a stop order. Now, let's say that I want to do the ATM strategy as you're asking. So we'll go ahead and exit out of this trade. So I'll exit out of that. And now I can see that all those orders are out. Okay. There's no more orders open. So if I go click this and go to create new order, first things first, guys, is when I go to settings here, I always dock this to the right. Okay. So I have my trading view set up to where I have, if I'm going to trade on trading view, I have it set up to where it's over here. Now I have a take profit and a stop loss right here. Then this is the ATM strategy that you were talking about here. So let's say I want to take one contract and I want to make it to where I take profit at 50 ticks and my stop loss is 50 ticks. And if I buy at market, you can see that it has my sell limit up there for the take profit and my sell stop order right here. Okay. So both of those are set up. Let's say that I want to buy here on the chart. Okay, let me explain that real quick. I always use ticks and not points. Yes, I always use ticks, not points. Number one. Number two, I always leave ticks on this as well because the way that I like to trade, I don't like to focus on the profit as in the number or the dollar amount that I'm making. Okay, if you're focused on the money and you're not focused on the actual trade, you're going to actually find yourself making errors. Okay. So I'm only focused on gathering ticks, not money. I don't even keep this open when I'm trading. I don't even pay attention to it. Whenever I'm done trading, I look and see how I've actually done. I don't actually do that. Okay. Because when you focus on trading money, you're looking at that big number, then you're focused on, oh my gosh, I'm up $100. Oh my gosh, I'm up $200. Oh my gosh, I'm up $300. You're not even paying attention to the trade. You're getting out of a trade too early. You're sized too high, or you size in too high because, oh my gosh, I'm down $100. I'm down $200. And then all of a sudden you're just sizing in more and more and more. And the next thing you know, you blow up your account. Okay. You've done it. We've all done it. Can you trade futures long term? You can on a personal account, but I don't on a prop account. It's not available. What are our tick targets? Usually 40 ticks is 10 points, 15 ticks or 15 points is 60 ticks. 60 ticks is usually primarily my first target unless it's in these lower lower volume times like Asia session, then that's when I will look towards possibly just a 10-point move. Otherwise, sometimes 50, so I'm looking for 60 ticks or 80 ticks at most. Sometimes I do get bigger moves and I'll keep a runner and we'll get 100 ticks, 120 ticks, 140 ticks, 160 ticks all the time. It does happen from time to time. But that's not the trade I'm looking for. The tick is equivalent to a pip. Yes, in the sense of this. No problem. Thank you for staying and thank you for being a part of that. When do you know that you're done for the day? So I primarily, and those of you guys that are still here, you're about to learn something as well. The benefits of having multiple accounts is this. Use one account to pay the bills and use the other account for discretionary. Meaning, I'm focusing on making what I need to make for the day in one account. I shut that down, and then I go to my other account and I go ham. Or whatever, not go ham, but I feel more free to trade that account from a discretionary purpose. Okay? Right? So the benefit of that, again, is that it kind of relieves you from going back and kind of relieves you from, let's say, getting too many accounts. Oh, not getting too many accounts, but basically taking away all the progress that you've made during the day or the progress that you've made during the day on an account that was important to you. Okay. Because that account is the account that you want to pay yourself, right? So perfect example is like, let's say I had a starter account and an expert account. I know that that starter account's only going to pay me on a 50K evaluation, let's say on a 50K, it's going to pay me $2,000 a week or every 2 weeks. I want to focus on getting that $2,000, right? So if I get that $2,000, I've got that, I'm focusing on that, whatever I need to do to achieve that over time, great. And then if I want to have, an expert account that allows me to take on maybe a little bit more and I can go for a little bit more there, then I can kind of run that up a little bit more. So hopefully that makes sense on why I would want to do that. Can you have multiple profit targets on TradingView? Yes, you can. So for example, I have this, right? So let's say I add another contract here. So now I've got multiple take profits, and then I can just move my stop loss up. I can put these in the same area here, and I can just move this wherever I want. It's very easy. Just drag, just drag, just drag. We going to get this recording? So I believe the recording will be available in StockDads. Does TradingView have auto break even as well? So this is the one thing I have not figured out. I don't believe so. Are you able to answer that question if you're still here? And if you're still here, thank you, but I know it's been long.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
There is not an ability to do an auto break even on TradingView, correct?
Not to, no, there is not. No, there's not.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Yeah. So just to understand, guys, a little bit about TradingView. The purpose of trading on TradingView is, of course, it is an ease. It's nice to do, but at the same time, you are going to miss some of the price action that you will actually see on Trade So yeah, there is some pros and cons to trading on TradingView. So if I have multiple accounts and I wanted to risk a fixed amount of $150, I can do this trading even on futures currencies, right? Yeah, you can. Yeah, exactly. What's important though is you understand exactly how much it is per point or per tick when it comes to trading the Eurodollar futures, for example. You need to be able to know what that is so you size appropriately. Okay, That way you have the right stop loss in place and you have the right amount of contracts. What's the purpose of copy trading like 20 counts? Honestly, the only thing that to me is only for the experienced trader, number one. And I'm talking like beyond experienced trader. Number two, it does give you the ability to leverage your trading, meaning if you had 20 accounts, if you made $400 on 20 accounts, that would be the equivalent of making $8,000, right? So that is the benefit. At the same time, you will also lose $8,000 on 20 accounts if that happens. And the other side of that is the copy trading systems do fail from time to time. And if you want to do that, it's not going to work. So let's compare, because I know you're asking me about the euro dollar here. So let's look at this real quick, right? If I look at Euro USD, right, on Anata, and over here on the right, I just pull up 6E. And I got let's pull up a 15-minute chart over here and a 15-minute chart over here. And we're going to reset the view. And we're going to zoom in here. And do you notice any difference in these charts? Do you see anything different? The color. Thank you. Yeah, just the color, right? There's absolutely no difference. This is the same exact trade. You're not, there's nothing different here at all. So it's the same trade, it's the same thing. You're not going to see anything different. Yeah, there's some wick action over here on the left. But that's not the one we're trading. We're trading the futures. So if you're not part of the Discord, I don't believe you're going to be getting the recording. I apologize. So, but I do appreciate you being here.
No, that's not true.
I'm a liar.
No, you're a filthy liar. I'm gonna send it out to people that I have the emails for.
If you have an email, you get it. So,
However, you should be in the StockTeds Discord anyways.
yeah, we should drop that link one more time. So, no, I appreciate DJ just being here. So, and again, appreciate you guys being here. Explain the different tiers in the discount. So 30% off on the starter. 30% off on the starter for the evaluation. 30% off for the activation. And then if you have to reset the account because you failed, 30% off on that on the starter accounts. 20% off the expert. Currently with 20% off expert, you actually are getting a damn good deal. I think, what is it, all in $126, something like that for an expert 50K account. That's ridiculous. Because again, you don't have any minimum training days, no max withdrawals. Where can you get a funded account for that little? It's pretty difficult. Could you go through the steps of getting a live account? So it's evaluation, then payout, then live. Yeah, so how it works is you do the evaluation, then you do the funded account, the sim funded account, then you get a payout, and then you get multiple payouts, and then you get that consistency over time, and then they will be like, okay, this person is legitimate and they are worthy of a live account, and they will back you because of that, right?
And just to go on top, to cover that as well, with us, although you can get the payouts in the sim account, you don't have to. I mean, we encourage you obviously withdraw regularly, but we're not very strict on that. You can just keep the account, build it up. What we're looking for really is for consistent profitability. We're looking for people who, manage their risk properly. And of course, once we see payouts as well, that's big up for us. And on top of that, with the live account, essentially, just to briefly explain it, with a live account, the differences between that and the sim account is that in the sim account, we have the predetermined conditions that you're given, which is on the website. However, if you're on the live account and you're offered a live account, you are trading on the live markets for one. And two, we are actually copy trading you. So if you are a really good trader, we bring you to live, we will copy trade you so that, we're making money as well. That's our business model. We're not here to prey on people failing accounts. And on top of that, we actually do provide you personalized conditions. So for example, if you're someone who prefers to have a daily loss limit, we can add that for you. If you're someone who prefers to have more contracts, we can give that to you. So we definitely work with you and we give you exactly what you're looking for. We're trying to work out the best conditions for you here in My Funded Futures. So
Awesome. Thank you, Eli. Looking at your alerts, are the chef alerts and chef futures different? So there shouldn't be any difference. Really, it's the chef futures, that's my alerts. So can you explain Bollinger Bands in your RSI indicator? Missed it previously. Yeah, so if I'm going to use the RSI, I use the RSI with the Bollinger Bands and then use it for 34. I'll show you that here real quick, and then I'll actually show you the daddy algo real quick. So let's do this. Flip in Q. I know somebody asked me about this earlier. I was not ignoring you. The per month is the evaluation. If you continue to trade that evaluation. I don't usually use supply and demand zones. So hold on, let me go over my little setup here. So RSI, we'll just type that in because that was the question first. So if I'm using an RSI, what I'll do is let's go down here, go to the settings, go and change this MA type to Bollinger Bands, change this to 34, and then I'll put the divergence on here. All right, so primarily what I'm looking for is using the Bollinger Bands as the extremes for the RSI, and then using that for my purpose. Also looking for divergences. You can see we have this bullish divergence right here before we got that pop at the end of the day, and that did play out. So very nice. So this is just one little thing. Again, it's not something I use primarily. It is something I like to use on a more longer term basis, not necessarily day trading, but at the same time, it is there. Now, let's look at Daddy Algo, okay? Because I know that some people have been asking about Daddy Algo, so here we go. So Daddy Algo, SMC, time zones, trend. We'll put all these on, and then I didn't click the trend. There we go. All right, we'll go over these one by one here. So first things first, time zones, right? So you guys were talking earlier about time zones. So these represent the London session, the New York session, the lunch session, the PM session, and the Asian session. So it's important when you're trading futures to know what the London high, the London low was, the New York morning low, high, etc., previous days, any of those that have not been tested yet. Once they get tested, you see a reaction, could be support, could be resistance. These are things I like to use every day in my trading. So I'm always looking at these levels as levels of importance. You can see that in the London session, for example, today, the London session tested this Asian low and rejected. And then we also rejected that Asian low again later on. And then you can see that we actually found a bottom near the London low a couple of days ago as well. Whenever we see a confluence of lows around previous days that have not been tested, I like to look at those for possible support. So anyway, just the time zone, something to pay attention to on a day-to-day basis. So we'll turn that off for a second. We'll go through these one by one. This is the trend indicator. So with this is basically telling you where the highs, where the lows have been, whether they're lower lows, lower highs, etc. It will keep the candles If the trend is down, it'll keep the candles red. If the trend is up, meaning we're making higher highs and higher lows, it'll change it to green. You can see that we got a higher high and a higher low, and now we have an uptrend, possibly a reversal here. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying that's how this works. Primarily, I don't like to use this one for, yes, it's being recorded, Tommy. I don't like to change the bar color. I do like to leave the lines up there, and I will put them as solid lines usually. And then I don't have to have the markers. I can usually pinpoint that myself, but it's up to you if you want to use that. So I can just keep that on there. But that's how I use it myself. SMC, so this is smart money concepts, supply, demand, etc. So this will actually map out the fair value gaps as you see them listed here. You can see that one got retested, and then we saw a bounce. It'll mark off the supply and demand zones. You can see we have a bearish fair value gap there. It will show you prior day's high, prior day's low, prior week's low, prior week's high, break of structure, change of character, etc., discount, equilibrium, premium based upon the chart, all of those things. Okay. And then when you go to Daddy Algo, that's going to have your signals. So we had a sell signal up here, buy signal, sell signal, buy signal, sell signal. This changes. I know people were asking me about this. I turn off the candles. I actually don't keep the signals on the regular chart. What I do love about this is we do have the trend lines, and I do like to put on the support and resistance levels that are automated. I do like to use this during the day if I'm using the candlestick chart for a reason, because it marks off important levels. And then when I get breaks of uptrends or downtrends, I like to use them. We'll put together a video on how I use them myself. The last one I want to pull up, and I know people have asked me about this, so I'm going to pull it up. So I'll use a Renko chart, and I'll use a 12-minute Renko chart, and I will turn off the SMC here, and I will actually throw on, I will right click this actually, settings, or where's it at? Sorry, 1 second. Change this to, okay, so I changed the box size method to traditional, and I changed this to 2. Okay. All right. So now I've got this set up here. And then I'm going to turn off these other ones real quick because I leave that one on, but I don't actually even need these for support and resistance levels. And I don't need these trend lines. Okay. And all I care about is these signals. So now, and I don't need this RSI either. So what this will do is this will keep me in the trade much longer and in the trend. So you can see that like we got that break of that trend, that level earlier today. Take this short off this Renko line, and then you just hold this all the way down. And then you can see we go up and down, up and down, up and down. And then, yeah, and then you can change this. You can change this down to like a 2-minute if you want. If you want to go that small. And you're going to scalp this way up. Beauty about this is you just kind of like ignore price action. So what a Renko chart is essentially doing is it's just boxing off levels. So if box size is 2, so every time we go up or down 2 points, it's going to make a box. So it's just what it's doing is it's just giving me that trend. And what this will allow you to do is, and you want to pay attention to this when the market is actually really moving, because yes, these signals are being painted as they would have been, but this is Daddy Algo. Doesn't Renko make big jumps before you can get in? I have not used it before. It does if you're using the wrong chart. That is correct, Stephen. This is Daddy Algo, yes. So I think this can be a very beneficial tool for you to even keep on the side, because in my opinion, even if you have one of these charts sitting over on the side, you can at least be in touch with, okay, what is actually the trend right now? So if I just go back to this 12-minute right here, again, it's going to change however you got it. So 1 minute and go down to 15-second if I want to, right? If I'm feeling fancy here. It's totally up to you, right? So but primarily when I'm watching this chart, to answer your question, I'm looking at the 12. 5 minute though is pretty beneficial. I like the reason why I like the 12, this is kind of just telling me what the trend is. Like for example, when we got this buy earlier today, you could have stuck in this the entire time. Literally the entire time. Like, are you looking at this right now? You would not have gotten out. Nothing would have told you to get out, and you would have just held until you got the sell signal. So stop loss would just be a reversal signal, really. Honestly, because again, these candles are, they're just 2 points. So each one of these is 2 points. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So it's pretty good for scalping, Tommy. If you bring it down to a smaller time frame, like I said, like look at this 30-second. So Tim, you're not gonna be able to get it from there. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's essentially the same thing. You might as well just wait. It's coming, guys. I promise. Hey, thank you for being on here. Yeah, you know what? I don't think they're bad to use. I'm not saying not to use them. You can definitely use the trend lines. Like if I use the trend lines here, we'll just throw them up here. But yeah, we're also, those of you that trade the gap fill, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Gap fill indicator. We have a gap fill. You guys ready to laugh? You ready to laugh? The daddy gap fill indicator. So those of you that trade the ES gap fill, this will be on your charts. So it'll tell you where the gap fill is. And then once the market opens, it'll tell you where the half gap is and where the full gap is, etc. So it'll be a great tool for you to use in the future. So it's going to be part of the set. So pretty excited for that as well. All right. Yeah, I know you use it. Matt uses it. Matt helped develop it. So thank you, Matt. Yeah, Tamika uses it. My FOE members use it. So these are going to be available for members of Stock Dads. Now, I haven't priced this.
They will be extra. They will be extra purchases.
They will
Even
be
for
extra,
members of
guys.
Stock Dads.
Yes, they are going to be an extra add-on. It's going to be a
But
monthly thing.
we'll only promote them within the Discord.
It is going to be a monthly thing. But guys, this is
really
my whole
inexpensive.
view. Yeah, it's not going to be crazy. Not going to be a crazy price. My whole view on this is this though. Like you are getting something that keeps you from losing money. more than you actually would. Okay. I look at a product like this that keeps me out of a bad trade, or tells me, hey, I'm in a bad trade, get out. Right? That's the way that I look at that. I don't necessarily look at, something like this to exactly. Yeah, I mean, Matt's correct. I mean, I don't look at this as like something that you rely on, right? For it making your every bit of decisions. But ultimately this is just how it works. It can be really a beneficial tool to keep you from making a bad decision, and then even if you made the bad decision, it'll keep you from losing too much. So yeah, but I really do appreciate you guys. Really great to be a part of Stock Dads. Really great to put this on, and hopefully moving forward, we can work together and get you guys started on the futures end here.
I'll say it one more time. If there's anybody in here that is not in the Stock Dads Discord, you have two options. If you want to get a discount, the link I'm popping in chat right now is the link you should go through, so Chef gets some credit to get you to join up. And then if you use code webinar2, that'll get you 50% off your first payment. And if you use code last chance, that's 40% off for life. So that's the better deal. But our prices do go up on Monday, one way or the other. And that's when those discounts, well, the webinar 2 one will end as soon as we hang up here. And then the last chance one will end on Monday. So if you guys want to join, hit up that link right there and use that code, and we'll see you in the Stock Dads Discord. Chef, all his alerts will be in there, all the education. And guys, this is a surface level scratch of what we offer in Stock Dads. It's incredible, not just in futures, but option selling, crypto, sports betting, everything. So yeah, love you guys. Thanks, JT, really appreciate you. And
Thank you guys.
this is going to be a fun journey for all of our Stock Dads people to start playing around with futures. So
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. And again, thank you guys for your time, and look forward to talking to you guys in the future. And you guys can always holler at me in the futures chat. Make sure, if you're not already, make sure you hit the notifications for the Chef Futures. And yeah. All right.